Now we are going to write a one simple program addition of the two complex numbers. You know the complex number. What is a complex number? 3 plus 4i. It is called as a one complex number. And 4 plus some 7i, it is a one complex number. So this is a one complex number and this is a another complex number. When we are going to add this one, we are going to get 7 plus 11i. Actually here the complex number is the two parts. This is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So complex number is a combination of two values, that is a real value and imaginary value. So for addition of the two complex numbers, first we are going to create a one structure variable, structure format. So first I'm going to save the file. So my file name is a complex1.c. Now we are going to hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, void main, struct complex. I'm going to take as a int real, int img imaginary. It is the end of the structure. It is the end of the structure. Now we are going to declare the one complex structure variable. How to create a complex structure variable? Struct complex. We are going to take as a C1 and we are going to struct complex C2 and I want to store this addition of these two values and we are going to store the result into a another variable, complex variable. The resultant is a complex C3. So we have the C1 and the C2 have the input values and the resultant values are available in the C3. Now here we are going to initialize this value. How to initialize the value? We are going to give the 3, 4. So first 3 is stored in the real part and 4 will be stored in the imaginary part. And C3 we are going to C3 we are going to take the C3 equal to, this is the initialization. I'm going to take the second complex number as 4 and 7. Now how we are going to add the values here? C3 dot C3 dot real equal to So how do we are going to add the complex numbers? We are going to add the real part and imaginary part separately. So C3 dot real equal to C1 dot real, C1 dot real plus C2 dot real, C1 dot real and C2 dot real. So we are going to add these two values and imaginary value C3 dot imaginary equal to C1 dot imaginary plus C2 dot imaginary. Now we are going to print the C1, C2 and C3 values. Printf backslash n C1 percentile d percentile d I. First percentile d is C1 dot real, C1 dot imaginary. Second percentile d is substituted by the word imaginary. Printf, we are going to print the second real number, second complex number, percentile d, percentile d I, comma C2 dot real, comma C2 dot real. Printf backslash n C3, we are going to resultant complex number by print percentile d, percentile d I, comma C3 dot real and C3 dot real. Get H, save the program, run the program. So there we are going to get an error message, error forgotten mistake, semicolon is missed. Now it is successfully compiled. Now we are going to run the program. So we are going to get the C1 values 3, 4i, C2 as 4i, C2 we are mistaken by mistake. We are going to write as a C2. We are going to run this program any number of times. We are going to get the C1 value is 3, 4i, C2 as 4, 4i, the addition of this. If you are going to run this program, always we are going to get the same output. Now here I am going to write the another program, complex 2.c. Now here instead of giving the initial values, I am going to read the data from the keyboard. I am going to read the values from the keyboard. Printf I'm going to use a CLR SCR function to clear the screen. Printf \n, enter first complex number, real and imaginary values. How to read the data by using the scanf function? Scanf percentile d, comma, address of c1 dot real, comma, c1 dot imaginary, c1 dot imaginary. Now we are going to read the second complex number values, \n, enter second complex number, real and imaginary values. Scan percentile d, comma, address of c2 dot real, comma, address of c2 dot imaginary, c2 dot imaginary. So after reading the values, see first complex number values and second complex value, then we are going to add the values. C3 dot real equal to C1 dot real plus C2 dot real. C3 dot imaginary equal to C1 dot imaginary part, and we are going to add the C2 dot imaginary part. We are going to separately add the values. Now save the program, file the program, run the. So first we are going to enter the first value is 3 and second value is 5. Don't enter I. We are going for the representation purpose, we are going to use the I, but don't enter the I. So first value is a real value and second value as a imaginary value. So we are going to enter the second complex number value 2 and 8. So 3 plus 8, we are going to 3 is the real value in the first complex number and 2 is a real value in the second complex number, and 5 as the real value in the first complex number and 8 as a in real number in the second complex. When we are going to add 3 to, we are going to get the value as 5. So we are going to get the C3 is 5, 4 2 plus so here the mistake is C1 dot real, C2 dot instead of the imaginary, we are into the mistake. ING. It is not a compiler error. not a syntax error, it is a logical error. So system cannot detect the logical errors. Enter the values 2, 4, 5, 6. So 2 plus 5, 7, 4 plus 10. Now they are going to give the another input we are going to give them. Enter the first complex value. Suppose here I am going to give as a -4, -8. Second complex number as a -8 and was given as a 2. So we are going to get the values -4, -8, -12, -8 plus 2. We are going to get them 6, 5. -8 -8 plus 2 here. The mistake here, we are forgotten the ampersand symbol. So first complex number is 3, 8, -8, and second as a -7 and -6. First value, real value is 3, second real value is -7. 3 plus -7 means we are going to get the -4, and imaginary part in the first number as -6 and the second number as a -6. -8 plus -6 we are going to get in as a -14i. Like we can be use addition of the two complex numbers. In the similar fashion, we are going to find the distance between 2 points. We already execute this program in previous class. We are going to read the two values, 2 points, distinct points, and we are going to find the distance between these two numbers. So how to we are going to distance between 2 points include stdio.h hash include conv.h hash include math.h, where we include the math.h file. So for finding the distance between 2 points, we are going to use a formula square root of x2 minus x1 square by square plus y2 minus y1 square. So here I'm going to void main. So just I'm going to take it as a integer values int, or we can take it as a float. We are going to take it as a x1 comma x2 comma y1 comma y2, and the distance in a, we are going to store the value in variable d. CLRS here to clear the screen. So on a plane, two-dimensional plane, we are going to x-axis and y-axis. We every point have the x-axis and y value. X-axis value and y value, y-axis value we are going to store. Printf \n enter first point x and y values. Scanf percentage f comma address of x1 comma address of y1, that is a point, first point having the x1 and y1 coordinate point values. Printf \n enter second point x and y values. Scanf percentage address of x2 comma address of y2. So for finding the distance t, we are going to use sqrt, square root of, we have to find the x2 minus x1 square. That means first we have to find the x2 minus x1 square. So x2 minus x1 multiply with x2 minus x1. So we are going to get as a x square, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 into y2 minus y1, So this is the y square. So for whole, we are going to find the square root. Printf backslash n. The distance is percentile f comma d. See here. Save distance. Two and 5. We are going to take as another value at the 5 and some 30. So we are going to find the square root of x1 is 2 and x2 is 5. So 5 minus 2 whole square, that is 5 minus 2 means 3 square. We are going to get the 9 plus 30 minus 5. We are going to get the 25 square, and we have to the resultant square root. So we are going to get the distance. So this is the normal way we are going to find the distance between 2 points. The same we are going to implement by using the structures. Dist2 dot c. So here I am going to create a one structure variable template. First struct point. So I am going to declare the two members. One is x1 and x2. So we have the only x and y values only. We are going to get the float x and y only. We are going to declare the one float variable t. So here I am going to declare the 2 points p1 and p2. Struct point p1 comma p2. We are going to declare the 2 struct point variables names as a p1 and p2. Names are p1 and p2. So we are going to enter the first point values. Scan percentile f. So here how we are going to read address of p1 dot member name as x1, x only. Address of p1 dot y. Address of p1 dot y. Enter the second point x and y values. So we are going to read second point as address of p2 dot x, address of P2 dot y. We are going to P2 dot y. Now we are going to find the distance between those points. How we are going to find the distance? x2 minus x1 square. That means we are going to find the P2 dot x minus P1 dot x. P1 dot x. Here also we can be write as a P2 dot x minus P2 dot x minus P1 dot x. P1 dot x. So here we have to write P2 dot y minus P2 P1 dot y. P1 dot y. Multiply with P2 dot y minus P1 dot y. P1 dot y. So simply we are going to print the distance. Enter the first point x and y values. I'm going to recognize a 2 and 5. Another value is 5 and 30. So we are going to get the values. So here I'm going to find the square root of x2 minus x1 multiply with x2 minus x1. So we are going to find the power square. Instead of writing multiplying like this, we can use the POW function. POW. Suppose hash include stdio.h hash include connew.h hash include math.h void main int x scr screen. Suppose x equal to 5. Suppose if you want to find the square of that number, so we are going to write POW can use the power of 5 comma 2. So where is 5 is the base and 2 as a power. So we are going to print the f value printf backslash n y equal to %ld comma y. Let's see. So here I'm going to answer x. So we are going to get the 25. 5 square as a 25. Like we can use the POW function. We can use the POW function. So here, instead of multiplying this, we can write as a POW function. POW power of P2 dot x minus P1 dot x comma 2 plus we can write POW of P2 minus y, P2 dot y minus P1 dot y comma 2. We are going to find the square of that number. I'm going to put 530. Get the distance. Like we can find the distance of the 2 points. Thank you.